Is this her right here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's hard to tell when they're in
Yeah.
this shape. Obviously, she's been brutalized. I mean, it's a tragic situation here, and I just don't think it's talked about enough. And of course, that's the reason that we're talking with you right now. Um, Let me see. Let me stop sharing this particular screen here. Okay. So go ahead and tell us the story of what happened. Who is your cousin and what happened to her? I'm assuming on October 7th last year.
Right. So because the country of Israel is so small and there are a lot of, kind of enemies surrounding it, it is a requirement for everybody when they graduate high school to go straight into the IDF for 2 years.
And
She
just so our viewers understand, the IDF is the
Israel.
Israeli military, right? It's service in the Israeli military, aka the IDF, is mandatory, mainly
Mhm.
because Israel is always having to defend itself, and it has a limited population. Correct?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay,
So in the event that something like this were to happen, they have people who are ready to defend the country.
right.
So in her case, she had just finished her military training. She was a week out, so she was newly an IDF soldier. She was on base on October 7th, and there is an alarm that goes around countrywide so people know there's an attack taking place. She heard the alarm. It was considered the Sabbath in Israel, which means people don't use technology, people don't turn on lights. There's a lot of rules around the Sabbath of, lack of communication. So that definitely played a role in this war or, specifically in that first day. But she heard the
Mhm.
alarm. She went running. She was one of the first responders because she was one of the newer soldiers. And when she did go to the base, there were Hamas terrorists waiting for her and for everybody else who came. So her and three other girls were pretty brutally beaten, as you can see from the video, and dragged into a van and taken straight to Gaza. They don't know exactly where she's at now. They have not heard from her in quite some time. There was a little bit of communication a few months back during the first hostage deal. She passed on a message to another girl she met in the situation that was released in that hostage deal to make sure she calls her father to wish him a happy birthday. So she'd been keeping track of the dates and she wrote his number on a styrofoam cup and gave it to her, asked her to please make sure she reaches out. There was a viral video of the woman calling her dad and telling him, she wanted to make sure that I wish you a happy birthday on your birthday. And she wanted you guys to know, don't worry about her. She's fine. She's strong. She's resilient and she's going to be okay. And she'll see you guys soon. So that in itself, in my opinion, just shows the resiliency that is just innate within her and all the hostages right now. We're just praying for her return. That's the last they heard from her. But I know that that was really special for them. So definitely we're just waiting, crossing fingers.
Sure, sure. And obviously, she sounds like a very mature, tough woman, even at 19 years of age.
Absolutely.
I wanted to point out, too, for our viewers that when you are in the IDF and you're taken a hostage, you're considered a more valuable hostage, I guess is the way to say it, in the sense that you are a military combatant, you're in the military, and they generally value those hostages more. Am I correct in that? Okay. So that's
Absolutely.
probably one of the reasons she hasn't been released yet. In addition to that, can you talk about why it is so peerless for women specifically to be in this type of situation?
Well, I mean, there was that New York Post article. I mean, people know at this point, hopefully, that there's a lot of sexual assault happening. There are a lot of rapes happening. So it's definitely a very dark time.